Now, back to Coastal Living on KZTV.
All right, guys, welcome back to Coastal Living. Here with us today is Dr. Kate Rodriguez. She's a licensed professional counselor and supervisor, and she's also our new mental health expert. Thank you, Kate.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you. I had you on my mind, and I think it was just fate that we approached each other and talked about it, and you were like, weren't you manifesting it?
Yes, I was. I was thinking about all the different problems that people have been having lately, and I just feel like there's more awareness that people need about mental health and to drop this stigma.
Absolutely. So the thing we're focusing on today is anxiety and depression, but what are some unhealthy ways that people cope with those things?
Often people try to just block it out, and people they use unhealthy coping skills to just put it back. So substance abuse, having your glass of wine here and there, that's fine, but I'm talking like the people that will binge drink and black out to avoid the problems they're having, or a lot of people will get into unhealthy relationships, lots of different ways that people will cope negatively to avoid dealing with the actual issues.
True.
I wanted to ask, is anxiety something that comes from outside to me or something that I create in my own head?
So I always refer to anxiety as like a snowflake, because it's totally different for every person.
For every person.
Some people might get it out of nowhere. Some people will get it because of a trauma. It's all about the person and what they've been through, their own story.
And you were talking about stigma. Mental health is not something that we can avoid. I mean, we all have moments of anxiety, anger, all of those things, depression. So it's really something that we need to learn as younger children on how to cope with these stresses.
I'm so glad you said that, because it is true that teaching kids, teaching people at a younger age how to deal with it, how to relax themselves, how to accept the difficult feelings that they have instead of just avoiding it or being ashamed. I can't tell you how many times people have started crying in my office, and the first thing they say is, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't be sorry, let it out. It cleanses your soul a little bit. Your body's telling you to deal with it. And so what I want people to know from a young age is to be able to not be ashamed. It's okay.
Well, especially for little kids, because we have such a habit of like, stop crying and you're embarrassing me because we're in a public place. But if your child has a legitimate reason or they're experiencing an emotion, especially for the first time when they're that young, you have to let them work through those emotions and acknowledge them.
Yes, I don't know how many times I heard in my childhood, like, no llores.
Oh, yeah. Especially Hispanics. They're like, cállate. The manager is coming to get you. You better be quiet.
I don't know who you are. Put him in the other shopping cart. He's in the other shopping cart. I don't know who he is.
But yeah, like I like to tell people, if you lose somebody and you're grieving, don't be ashamed of it. Like, have your emotions. I have a Selena song for almost every emotion that I go through.
Maybe we need to patent that idea, right? It's like, there's a song for that.
It's a segment.
Yeah, but like, listen, for me, it's listening to certain songs where the lyrics speak to me, and I'll sing them at the top of my lungs by myself, of course. But letting yourself cry, letting yourself feel those difficult emotions, talking to somebody, that's why a support system is so necessary.
Yeah, but we just said mom and dad aren't listening to me.
Well, speaking of that, so a lot of people can confide in their friends, sometimes your coworkers and things like that, but how can somebody on a budget who maybe doesn't have insurance or even know where to go find the help that they need?
So there are a lot of resources in town that I wish more people knew about. Maybe I need to start a campaign on how to get that, start getting that out there. Maybe we could have some of the clinic directors over here.
That would be amazing.
There are different clinics in town. So the first thing is, if you have insurance, look to see what's covered. A lot of insurances cover counseling. I take insurance. A lot of these clinics do. Also at the schools, they're starting to have counselors, licensed counselors on campuses. But also a lot of the school counselors should be able to point people in the right direction. Also, the homeless shelters, the Purple Door, they all have counselors that are there. And if they're not able to help you because of a certain issue, they can always find you help. So there's a lot of counselors in this town that are ready to help.
That's amazing, and we'll have to elaborate on that, like you said, bring in some of those companies and organizations. So say somebody isn't quite ready to go to counseling. A lot of times it's the ego or having a problem, admitting that there is a problem, and it's not a problem. It's completely normal.
In our community, I think it's considered a problem. It's considered a sign of weakness.
Well, but we're getting there.
As
a society, we're getting there where it's okay to acknowledge your anxiety and depression. How can me as a family member, as a sister, as a friend, help somebody who I know is struggling with anxiety and depression? What can I do?
Letting them know that it's okay. As simple as that sounds, just acknowledging like, wow, what you're going through is really tough right now. Yeah. It's okay, I'm here. Not telling them, it's gonna be fine. Or why are you so depressed, you have everything. Not good responses.
Yeah.
Being able to acknowledge what they're going through, because even if their problem may seem small to you, it's big to them. It's big to them in their lives. Letting them know that talking to a counselor or talking to anybody is okay. I am a professional secret keeper, and that's how we are as counselors. We are not allowed, everything's confidential, except in child abuse and those sort of situations, but we are professional secret keepers. We are people that you can go to and talk without shame.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kate, so much for coming by.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you agreed to be our expert because we have so much more to talk about with you. So thank you for taking this time to do that. Guys, if you're struggling with any mental health issues, go out there, find your resources, and see where you can get help.